Hi, in some other videos, we have explained the data volume the world is currently seeing is a kind of huge compared to what even we go back maybe 10 or maybe 15 years. So people nowadays talk about big data ideas, but we will be looking at that how we can relate these ideas to some existing mechanisms that the scientist has already worked on, and we can relate back to a specific subject, statistics. What I wanted to say that we can take the baseline statistical theories, develop our knowledge on top of that to tackle all the data science or maybe the data mining issues. Nowadays, the data science or data mining is a kind of buzzword or maybe like the reality because the amount of data and it is because of the networking and the kind of IoT devices, and that's why we are seeing a big volume of data that is coming up, and we want to take advantage of that to improve on our processes, on our automation applications, on our decision making, because historical data is a kind of evidence for some of the things that we can explain, although not all. And as I said, that each of us, especially those people who are in the research domain, we all know that whenever we are working on some hypothesis or maybe like some experiments, the biggest question comes that if we come up with some conclusion or some of our findings, then people will always ask about the evidence, and the evidence comes through some data. So I will first set up a hypothetical scenario to explain certain concepts. And let's say you are a new data scientist with a big role for a company who are in the drug discovery business. And your company is planning to develop a drug because they are the experts in that field. And your role as a data scientist is to help the company to set up some short-term and some long-term goal on that aspect that the company is planning to develop a drug. And you guys are aware of that there is already a competitor in the business, and they are also expert in that domain. And they have already a drug that is very much similar to what you are going to plan to develop. And the biggest challenge is that they have a really very effective drug that is almost at the level of 90% efficacy rate. So you as a data scientist have to guide your company to move forward with this idea. I would be posing a question that what are your thoughts on the problem and how will you approach? You might have your own ideas. Let's think a little bit about that this is about using the company resources to develop the drug, and you might have a plan that, okay, I want to develop the drug so it actually does better than the existing drug. But one thing to note is that if your drug is going to be better 91%, then will that be enough? Because we have to keep in mind that the competitor is already in the business, and for last 10 years maybe thousands or millions of people have already used that drug. So one thing for sure, that 1 or 2 percentage points will not give you enough values, right? So this is one thing we have to understand. And the other thing is that, let's say you got a drug developed and that is working 99% efficacy. The question I'm going to ask, that is it going to make the people use your drug right away? So this is a very challenging question, right? I mean, like, people will definitely come up with kind of questions that, okay, you are claiming that your drug works for 99%, but where is your proof, So in that case, you have to explain in a proper way, in a valid way, that the people can trust you. If you develop something working 100%, that's not going to get the trust of people right away, So things you have to wait and see, like, how people are actually accommodating new change, And initially, if you don't give up like enough evidence, then even your drug is going to work 100%, it's not going to make any difference, So in each step of your way, starting from like really developing a very accurate drug that is way better than what exists in the market, and also your way of experimentation. I mean, like, you have to clearly explain to the people that this really works, because think about that, we are going to compete with a drug that is already in people's belief. Even it is working 90% accuracy, but people have trust on that drug. So you have to plan everything on your way, starting from planning how will you approach, all the way to getting a successful product, and also to make people use that product. That's a very big challenge, So that's the message I wanted to pass. Again, this is not new idea, because people has used that. If we are doing a research publication, or maybe like if you are working in a research environment, research lab,